Hello students, welcome to this English teleteaching program. Today we are going to discuss very important chapter of your grammar book, but I think you are all fine today. You can watch the screen and you can guess what might be our discussion at the beginning. So let's begin our grammar session with a very interesting story. So you just see the screen. On the screen you can find a king's court, right? And the title of the story that we are going to listen is Value of Time, right? So you first listen to the story and then we will discuss why we have used this story. So now once again I repeat the title, the name of the story, Value of Time. Once a king had a lazy man named Horia. Were good friends. They are very good friends, the king and Horia. One morning, the king said, Horia, why don't you do work to earn some money? Horia said, Your Honor, no one gives me job. My enemies have told everyone that I never do any work in time. So the king said, You can go into my treasury and collect as much as wealth as you can till sunset. So Horia became very happy. He would collect a lot of money and he would collect a lot of ornaments, gold and so and so. So Horia rushed home to tell this to his wife. His wife said, Go and get the gold coins and gems now. I cannot go now. Give me lunch first. Then in the late afternoon, he picked some bags, became very glad, went to the palace, but on the way when he was going, he felt hot, so sat under a tree and he stayed under that tree. 2 hours later, he got off to go but saw a man who was showing some magic tricks. So again Horia stopped there to watch for an hour once again. When he reached the palace, it was already time for sunset. The palace gates had been shut. So Horia had lost a golden chance because he had not learned the value of time and the security guard did not allow him to enter the store to collect gold and ornaments. So this is very interesting story, how if you are lazy, if you are idle and you do not understand the value of time, then you will have to lose a lot. So mind your children, let's read the story once again and again you can understand the story better. So you see, once a king had a lazy man named Horia who were very good friends. One morning the king said, Why don't you do work to earn some money? Horia said, No one gives me job. My enemies have told everyone that I never do any work in time. The king said, You can go into my treasury and collect as much as wealth as you can till sunset. Horia rushed home to tell this to his wife. She said, Go and get the gold coins and gems now. I cannot go now. Give me lunch first. After lunch, he took a nap for an hour. Then, in the late afternoon, he picked some bags and went to the palace. On the other way, he felt hot, so sat under a tree to rest. 2 hours later, he got up to go, but saw a man showing some magic tricks. He stopped to watch for an hour again. When he reached the palace, it was already time for sunset. The palace gates had been shut. So Horia had lost a golden chance because he had not learned the value of time. So mind your children, you listened to the story, you read the story, and I hope, I expect you have enjoyed it nicely. And now you also you understand the value of time. So I think you must be very punctual in your life. Let's see the grammar item. Look at the red colored words in that story. You can find some words which are in red color, where, set, to, work, on, said, gives, have told, do, said, can go, collect, can. These are all verbs as we have read. In your first chapter, you know what is a verb and how you can identify the verbs. Now you look at the next three paragraphs. Rust, tell, set, go, get, can, go, give, took, picked, went, felt, sat, rest, got, go, saw, stopped, reached, was, had been sought, had lost, had learnt. All these are verbs. But my dear children, verbs, this is, as you know, verb is a class of word. We have different types of word classes or category of words, and verb comes under one category, right? But verbs again can be categorized in different ways. Now I have collected three to four important sentences from that story. You look at the sentences, then we will discuss. Study the following sentences. Once a king and a lazy man named Hariya were good friends. Second sentence. My enemies have told everyone that I never do any work in time. The king said, you can go into my treasury and collect as much as wealth as you can till sunset. राजा कहिले तुम सूर्यास्त पर्यंत तुम्हें मो ट्रेजरी की जाई परिवो, मो भंडार घर को जाई परिवो, जित्ती चाहिमो जहा संपद धन संपद तुम आनी परिवो, कलेक्ट करि परिवो. The palace gates had been shut, right, in the evening before when the sun set. He reached there and the palace gates had been shut. So my dear students, now you look at the red colored words where in the first sentence only one verb, that is the main verb, that is not auxiliary verb. My enemies have told two verbs. Have is the auxiliary verb and told is the main verb. And never do any work. I never do. So do here you just see that is the main verb. The king said, main verb. Can go. Can is an auxiliary verb and go is the main verb. So when we have two verbs or more than one, then the first verb is the auxiliary verb, what we have already seen. Right. Collect is the main verb. And you can collect here. You can collect. Collect you can, as you can. That means you can collect. So can is auxiliary, collect is the main verb. The palace gates had been shut. So three verbs in this verb phrase. Had been shut. And shut is the main verb, and had been, these two verbs, they are auxiliary verbs. Right. So you just see have in have told, had been shut. Do in work. If I say I work every day, then there is an auxiliary verb inside do, and that is the auxiliary verb is itself do, right? So these have, do, these are auxiliary indicating the tense and time of the verb. If I say I have seen, you can change it I had seen. The doors have been shut, the doors had been shut. The first verb, auxiliary verb, that can change the tense and time of the verb, or that gives the meaning accordingly. And you see the other category, that is may, should, will, ought to, can, must. This type of category indicates possibility, desirability, intention, ability, obligation, compulsion. As in the story, you can go, you can collect as much as you can. So here can is another category of verb, and this is modal auxiliary, and the first category is primary auxiliaries. So have, do, be verbs, these are primary auxiliaries, and can, could, may, might, shall, should, ought to, must, all these verbs, they come under, that is secondary auxiliaries, or they are called modal auxiliaries in grammar, right? So my dear students, I think you now understand that verbs are of two categories. One is auxiliaries, another is main verbs. And auxiliary verbs are of two types. They are primary auxiliaries and they are also secondary auxiliaries or modal auxiliaries. And now you see, an auxiliary verb always comes before the main verb. If you say, I am discussing grammar, so I am discussing. Here two verbs, am and discussing, and am is the auxiliary verb that comes before the main verb discussing, right? So in this sentence, if I say I am discussing grammar, in this sentence there are two verbs, and the first verb am is auxiliary, that is the be verb, and that is the primary auxiliary, and the main verb is discussing. So an auxiliary verb always comes before the main verb to indicate its tense or modality of expression, like expression of ability, permission, compulsion, obligation, threat, desirability, etc. There are two kinds of auxiliaries, as we have already discussed, primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary verbs, right? Now you just see the diagram so that you can remember it. Verbs can be categorized under two heads, auxiliary verbs and main verbs. Again, auxiliary verbs can again be classified under two heads, primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries, right? Let's see the modal auxiliaries. Modal auxiliaries, these verbs can also be categorized, can also be classified under two heads. There are some verbs which are paired form verbs, and there are some other verbs, they are called single form verbs. You just see shall, should, because shall is the form and its first form is should. Will, would, may, might, can, could, these are paired forms of the auxiliary verbs. And if you say pure auxiliary, must, ought to, these are single form because they don't have past forms. So present and they have only one form, that is must. They can used in past tense, and that they can also be used in the present tense, right? So they don't have any other form, that's why they are called the verbs, modal verbs of single form. Semi modals, need, dare, used to. So my dear students, let's discuss some very important sentences, some examples we will study, and you can notice how the primary auxiliaries are different from the modal auxiliaries and what are their uses, what are their functions. Now you study the following sentences. So Kupil is a very active baby. He is telephoning his brother people. So you see, this is a context. In this context, we have two sentences. Two small babies are there. But how babies are very active and smart nowadays. They are telephoning, they are talking on telephone each other. So Kupil and Pikul, they are two brothers, and Kupil is telephoning his brother Pikul, right? So in these two sentences, now you see, be, do, have can be the main verb or auxiliaries. So they can be, suppose be verb is a be verb that can be used as a main verb when it is used alone in the sentence. Kupil is a very active boy. Is the only verb here, and here this is verb or be verb is the main verb in the first sentence. But in the second sentence, when I say he is telephoning, is the auxiliary verb and telephoning is the main verb. So be, do, have can be the main verb or auxiliaries. When they are used as the only verb in the sentence, they function as the main verbs, and when they go with another verb, they become auxiliary verbs. And I think, my dear children, you understand how the auxiliary verb can also be used as a main verb when it is used alone in the sentence, right? Now you see, you study the following sentences. We have two sentences. You can look at the picture. A girl is dancing. Gogoli is dancing what is beautifully. She is invited to many cultural programs. So the first sentence, that is in the active form. The second sentence, that is in passive form, is invited. You see, remember, when we use be or have or do verbs, a be verb as an auxiliary makes two types of sentences. one sentence that is used in the progressive, one with progressive main verb and the other in the passive form of the main verb, as we have seen in the example, right? So is dancing, two verbs, progressive form, is auxiliary, dancing is main verb, and in the second sentence is invited, that is passive form, is the auxiliary verb and invited is the main verb, but it is in passive form. So my dear students, when we use be, have and do verbs, we can use in the sentence in two ways. One way is in progressive form, another way is in the passive form, as we discussed here, right? So now you see, this is Asutosh. When we introduce someone, we begin with this. This is Asutosh, a boy. He is strong and intelligent. He is a dancer. He is the monitor in his class. Mind your students, when we say something about a child or ourselves, or we introduce ourselves, or we want to introduce others, we use like this. We use sentences like this. And in all these sentences you see, the be verb is only used. Is the only verb that is used from the beginning till the end of the context. Or in all the four sentences, we have be verb, that means is verb, and here the is verb is the main verb. It introduces more information about the subject of the sentence, such as its identity, which Asutosh, a strong and intelligent boy, a dancer. His quality is he is a dancer, he is very intelligent, he is strong, right? And his position, he is the monitor in his class. So when we talk about the identity, nature, qualities or position of a person, we use be verbs, and here the be verb is functioning, or it functions, or it is used like a main verb, right? So let's do one activity so that you can understand what we discussed, right? Activity 1. Fill in the blanks with the proper verbs chosen from those given in brackets and rewrite the paragraph. Nilu was or is my classmate. She or he lives near the house on the same road. A few days ago, they have or had a big garden in front of their house. But now they have built an office room in that garden. They lost or have lost their beautiful garden. Nilu's father is or has a lawyer. He is not or does not go to the office at 10 o'clock every day. Do or does your father go to work at a fixed time every day? So my dear students, I think this activity is very important for you, because most of our students, they go wrong while they speak or while they write this type of sentences, right? So let's discuss how we can use the verbs properly with the subject, so that it will be easier for you to understand, and you can use correct sentences in your writing and in your speaking. You just see. Nilu was or is my classmate. So when you are talking about the present things, he is my classmate, right? She or he lives. So why was is not appropriate here? Because the second sentence, he or she lives near our house, that means he lives means I am talking about the present things. The context is a present context. So Nilu is my classmate, and Nilu is the name of a boy. That's why it is better to use he. So he lives near our house on the same road. A few days ago, they have or had a big garden in front of their house. So my dear children, you see, when we have ago, we have some past markers. Yesterday, last Sunday, ago, right? On a day, in the month of January, we should use the second form of the verb. So here the verb is have and its second form is had. So the correct answer is, a few days ago they had a big garden in front of their house, right? Now you see, but now they dash an office room in that garden. So there are two forms, half built and built. If we say built, then that will be past. But if we say half built, the correct form is half built, because the result is there. Half built means recent past, but now they have built here. That means there was a garden, but now they have built here, or they have built an office room in that garden. So there is no garden here. That's why it is better to use, or it is proper to use, appropriate to use. But now they have built an office room in that garden. They lost, or they have lost their beautiful garden. Again, it is resultive. The result is there. There was a garden. There is no garden now. That's why we should use they have lost their beautiful garden. Nilu's father is or has a lawyer. So Nilu's father is a lawyer. If we say has a lawyer, then I can say I have a pen. Nilu's father has a garden or has an office room. But we cannot say Nilu's father has a lawyer. But we can say Nilu's father is a lawyer, because we have already discussed. This talks about a position. So as we discussed, Asutosh is a dancer. He is brilliant. Exactly, Nilu's father is a lawyer. We cannot say has a lawyer, right? So when we talk about quality, position, all these things, then we can use the be form of the verb. And he does not go to the office at 10 o'clock every day. So look at the sentence. The correct answer is does not, because he, is the third person singular number. We know there are three persons: first person, second person, third person. I the first person, I, we, you second person, he, they. So third person is he, they, and he the singular number. That's why the verb is he does not go to the office at 10 o'clock every day. And we have already discussed, when we use is or am or as, then we have to use ing. He is going, but we cannot say he is go. This is wrong. Then do or does your father. Your father is the third person singular number. That's why we should use does your father go to work at a fixed time every day, right? So my dear students, actually modal auxiliaries are very, very important for you. In our day-to-day life, we use these modal auxiliaries. ପିଲେ ମାନେ ଆମେ ସବୁ shall, will, should, could, can, might ସବୁବେଳେ ଆମେ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରୁ। ସେଗୁଡ଼ିକ ହେଉଛି modal auxiliaries। ଏଗୁଡ଼ିକ ଆମ ବାକ୍ୟରେ ବା ଆମ ବ୍ୟବହାରରେ ଅତି ଗୁରୁତ୍ୱପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ ଭୂମିକା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରେ। They are very, very important for our use in day-to-day life. So now we must see how the modal auxiliaries are different from the primary auxiliaries. You see, the first one we have already read. The second one is they act as auxiliary verbs. So modal auxiliaries are also auxiliary verbs. They have single forms for all subjects. Number 3, you see, single form for all subjects. They do not change even for a subject like he, she, it, nor do they change for past time. You see examples. Sarita can swim in the river. So Sarita can swim. Can is the modal auxiliary, can swim. And if I change the number of the subject, her friends, plural form, but again we can use can. ପିଲାମାନେ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ବ୍ୟବହାର କଲେ ଏକୁଟିଆ ପାଇଁ ସରିତା ପାଇଁ, ଏଠି ସରିତାର ସାଙ୍ଗମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମେ କ୍ୟାନ୍ ବ୍ୟବହାର କଲେ। ତେଣୁ ସବଜେକ୍ଟର ନମ୍ବର ବଦଳିଲେ ମଧ୍ୟ modal auxiliary ତାର ଫର୍ମ ବଦଳିବ ନାହିଁ। ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି this is very, very important for you to remember, right? Next you see, two modals they cannot go together in a simple sentence. I cannot use I can, could go. ମୁଁ ଦୁଇଟା ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିପାରିବିନି, ଆଇଦର କ୍ୟାନ୍ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବି ନହେଲେ କୁଡ୍ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବି। I can, must ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିପାରିବିନି। I will, must ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଛି ପିଲାମାନେ ବେଳେବେଳେ I will, must ବ୍ୟବହାର କରନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଦୁଇଟା ମୋଡାଲ କେବେ ହେଲେ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରାଯାଇପାରିବ ନାହିଁ। So two modals cannot go together in a simple sentence. They have no non-finite forms as primary auxiliary verbs. For example, to, be, being, been, to can, to could ଲଗେଇ ପାରିବା ନାହିଁ, could canning ଲଗେଇ ପାରିବା ନାହିଁ, ତାକୁ ing ଲଗେଇ ପାରିବା ନାହିଁ, ତା ପୂର୍ବରୁ to ଲଗେଇ ପାରିବା ନାହିଁ, non-finite form ନାହିଁ। So they are always finite and come before all other verbs in a simple sentence. All the modals are followed by the where infinitive. So students should work. You see, should work. should modal work with the bare infinitive. They can score better if they are punctual and sincere. आमे गपटी आज पढ़िले value of time. मु आशा करूँ I hope, I expect all of you will be very punctual and sincere so that you can score. So can score, right? Can is the auxiliary and score is the best form of the verb, the first form of the verb. So modals are primarily used to express meanings such as necessity, obligation, advice, permission, certainty, possibility, etc. They do not usually have a time restriction, we have already discussed. They can refer to the present or the future in the same form. In same situation, should, would, might, in some situations should, would, might and could act as the first form of shall, will, may and can respectively. Used to refers to a first habitual action. You just see, you must not tell lies. You ought not to quarrel with your friends. सांग मान संग कली जमा करवा उचित नुहे. I used to get up at 4 o'clock in my school days. मु स्कूल रे पढ़िला बेले भोर 4टा उठुथिली. राइट ये सब क्षेत्र में आम देखा जो आम व्यवहार करवा देख यूज टू दैट टॉक्स अबाउट हैबिचुअल एक्शन माय हैबिचुअल एक्शन ought to that is you should not this is again that is I can say this is your responsibility not to quarrel with your friends. So I think you understand all these things. In the next session we will discuss more. Before that let's conclude what we discussed today. We discussed how to identify the auxiliary verbs. So identification of auxiliary verbs, primary auxiliaries and modal auxiliaries, we discussed the difference. And we also discussed use of primary auxiliaries like be, do and have verbs, how we can use in progressive form and other forms, passive forms. And we discussed the different types of modal auxiliaries and their features, right? I think you have understood all these things. In the next session we will discuss the next things or the rest of the things of these auxiliaries or auxiliary verbs. Thank you very much.